In General Conference, October 1856, word came to Salt Lake City of the plight of the Willie and Martin Handcart companies. They had started out late and had been struck by an early winter storm in the plains of Wyoming. President Young adjourned the conference and called able-bodied men to quickly gather supplies and organize a rescue party. Among the many valiant men who rode out of Salt Lake City to help the stranded saints were young men by the name of C. Allen Huntington, George W. Grant, David P. Kimball, and Stephen W. Taylor. When they left, they could not have known what would be required of them or what contribution they would make to building the kingdom. Arriving at the banks of the ice-filled Sweetwater River, the rescuers found the Handcart companies bogged down in snow. Men, women, and children among the group were too weak to cross the river. Their energy was spent, their strength was gone, and no doubt they felt the effects of frostbite, hypothermia, and extreme fatigue. It was then that these young men made a sacrifice that few are ever called upon to make. They waded into the stream time and time again, carrying members of the company across the icy stream. Back and forth they crossed until every member was safe on the other side and on the way to shelter and finally to the Salt Lake Valley. These young men, by then cold and wet, suffering themselves, joined the ranks of heroes that day. They were probably regular young men with their own problems, fears, and weaknesses. But they answered the call of the prophet. They were where the Lord could find them when they were needed to bless the lives of others. You, the Lord's youth of today, are no less valiant, no less able, no less willing to give of yourselves to bless the lives of others. You live in a time when the kind of sacrifice made by C. Allen Huntington, George W. Grant, David P. Kimball, and Stephen W. Taylor isn't generally required of you. Your sacrifices are of another kind. Nevertheless, today's young men and young women face challenges perhaps much more treacherous than those of the young men who carried the Handcart survivors across that icy stream. Youth today are faced like no generation before them, with raging assaults on their ability to withstand the temptations of the world, and is every bit as dangerous as the icy water faced by those valiant young men in 1856. Your trials must also be regarded as powerful enough to cause death, spiritual death, the kind of death that comes when we no longer feel sorrow, compassion, brotherly love, or other wholesome and uplifting feelings that help us grow and progress and draw nearer to the Savior. It will require every bit of our strength, wisdom, and energy to overcome those obstacles that will confront us. But even that will not be enough. We will learn, as did our pioneer ancestors, that it is only in faith, real faith, whole-souled, tested and tried, that we will find safety and confidence as we walk our own perilous pathways through life.